Hello friends, I'm going to take you through a little Teams walkthrough. So very first thing I recommend is that you open up Teams so you can follow along and you can explore with me. You should be able to do that just by going to the little startup Windows icon here and typing in Teams, and it should pop up. If you can't find it there, then you should go to My USNH and you can type it in the top in the little search bar and it should pull it up. If you need any help, just come find me and I'm happy to help. But yeah, let's talk about Teams. So Microsoft Teams is the software tool that the CoLab uses to communicate with each other. We have this team called CoLab Student Affiliates, which you should be part of if I've gotten my shit together enough to add you to the team. But yeah, you can go right to that team and you can click on General. It's going to bring you to posts to start with. And this is where if you need to tell the full staff something, you can make a post, add a subject, type a message, and then just make sure you tag CoLab Student Affiliates, because that will send a notification to everybody. If you don't use that tag, then it just gets put in the channel, but it doesn't send a notification to us, which isn't usually great because we're not usually like, checking every single channel. So definitely make sure you tag the teams so we can see what you were trying to tell us. Hello. She wants to walk through Teams as well. Yeah, so you can use this to, inform us if you're going to miss a shift or if you need to get coverage from your fellow CoLab student affiliates. So maybe in 2 weeks that you have to go back home, so you need to see if anybody wants to cover. You can post that sort of thing here. You can also use it as a place to just make conversation, have fun. We always love when people share, photos or memes or anything like that. So feel free to make it your own and to be part of the community here. One other thing before I continue talking about this channel is that Teams also has a chat function, kind of like any social media instant messenger. So if you use that chat function, you can talk to Robin, Martha, or I, or Matt if you need to, and you can let us know if there's something specific you need to tell one of us or ask one of us. You can use this. We are on this pretty religiously during our regular work hours. So this is a pretty tried and true method of getting in touch with us. So definitely make use of that. Another thing is since we only use that during work hours. If you ever need to get in touch with us outside of work hours, the best bet is for you to use this tab called Contacts, which has all of our phone numbers, all of our cell phone numbers, so you can send a text to us. We do not mind. We get text from student workers all the time. So yeah, definitely if you need to let us know, you're missing a shift, you're sick, anything like that, you can text us on there. So we won't talk so much about the files section just because if you need a file, we try to make sure you have the link. So you don't need to know so much about the organizational methods that we use. But there are some tutorials in here which can be useful. So if you're trying to figure out how to do something, it's always worth it to check to see if it's in here. We do not use this staff notebook that's kind of preloaded onto this kind of team, so you can ignore that. Quick Links is a page that we have created that includes all of the really important links that you'll probably need access to on a daily or weekly basis. The most important one is probably the CoLab Student Affiliate To Do. That's also linked up here. We're going to talk about that in a second. But there's also the schedule with everybody's hours that you can refer to. This is a link to punch in on Chronos. So please make sure you're punching in the beginning of your shifts, and you can use this as kind of a link to do that. These are where we store some files. Like I said, we're most likely going to link you the files that you need, so you don't have to worry so much about that. This is the CoLab website, our public-facing website. If someone comes in looking for resources or for something on our website, you can use the link here to get to that. Probably the most important thing on our website to know is that sometimes people come in needing appointments. So this is the link here to make an appointment with us. You can actually make appointments for other people just by getting their information. And the confirmation will be sent to their email as long as you put in their email. So you can definitely use that in case anybody comes in after staff are gone and you can't answer their questions. You can help them make an appointment here. Again, these are some links to tutorials that we have. For our peer mentors, if we have students who come in looking for help on their essays or their contract, you can see those here. These are little workshop peer review forms that walk you through the different things that you might need to check for their essay and their contract. And then this is a site that walks students through every step of the contract, planning guide, and essay writing process. So this is a really great resource for students if anybody ever comes in needing help. So use quick links to find those resources that you need when folks come in or when you're trying to do a task. Speaking of tasks, probably the most important tab is our COSA to-do list. If you click on this, you're going to be able to see these little buckets. This is how we kind of break down the different projects and tasks that we have. So what you should do when you come in for a shift, every single time you come in for a shift, is sit down, open up Microsoft Teams, and look at the to-do and see if there's anything you can tackle. Some things we will specifically assign to certain folks, you know, depending on what training they've gotten or if they're an IDS student, etc., who they're working with in the office in terms of staff. So sometimes it'll be assigned to people. For example, here you can see this is assigned to Elliot. Some tasks we don't assign to people. That means anybody can do them. We've provided enough information for you to be able to do them. So wash mugs on the toaster oven, that can be done by anybody who comes in. So you know, if you see a task that you can do that isn't assigned to someone else, just go ahead and do that task. And then when you're done with it, you're gonna check it off by clicking that little button right here. If you click into a task, sometimes there's additional information. For example, dish soap is in the cabinet. It's a little note that someone left who was assigning this task. We oftentimes include a little description there just because we know that if we don't assign it to anybody in particular, we want to provide enough information for any person to be able to do the task. So you can always click in and see if there's more information here. Let's say a task is big enough that you get it started during a shift, but you can't finish it. You can always mark it as in progress so people know that it has been started. For tasks like that you don't finish, we also ask that you assign it to yourself so we can kind of track who's doing what and we can follow up with you if needed. So, you know, for something like wash mugs on the toaster oven, you can just check that off if you do it. But for a bigger task like this flyer for a logo contest, I would assign it to yourself. It's assigned to Elliot right now, but let's say it has no assignment, then I would assign it to yourself. And if you start it, you can say in progress. Another thing that you can do in these little task windows is you can type comments. So especially if this is a long task, you can type comments to the person who assigned this to you or yourself to remind you kind of where you're at in the task and keep folks updated on that. Sometimes we'll include a a due date, so just keep in mind if there is a due date, you want to make sure that you do it within that date. The other thing that sometimes we'll add are these little tags here. So we'll say if it's ongoing, so that means that you know, there's not really a firm kind of deadline for it. It just kind of happens. We have a high priority. That means, you know, this needs to get done quickly. It's very important. And then we have, you know, our low and medium priority over here. Over on these two sections, templates and onboarding, these are templates that we keep for kind of repeated tasks. So we just ask that you don't check these off if they have this kind of bright little turquoise tag there. So that is it for our tour through Teams. If you have any questions about Teams, definitely let us know. We are more than happy to answer questions, and I'm more than happy to sit down with you if you're confused to walk you through again. So yes, definitely use Teams to talk to us. If you want, you can add the app on your phone so you get push notifications. It's not required, but it can be handy, especially if we post something outside of your working hours that you should see. For example, if we're closing the office for a snow day or something like that. So you can always put it on your phone, but you will get an email too about notifications that you get. So no need to put it on your phone if you don't want to. All right, I think that's everything. Bye, guys.